Hello, thank you so much for tuning into one of my episodes. I appreciate your support. I would love to hear your thoughts and discuss with you in the comment section. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to support me. I recommend watching it until the end. In the darkest depths of the previous night, I found myself in an unsettling ordeal that I would rather forget. There I was, nestled in the heart of Nebraska's desolate lands, a place so barren that it seems to have been erased from the face of civilization. My older cousin Francis and I were journeying home from Home Depot in the only town within 100 miles, cruising at an unwavering speed of 50 miles per hour down an endless highway flanked by sprawling fields. I must impress upon you that what I am about to recount is neither an attempt at humor nor a flight of fancy. Out of the towering, shadowy blades of grass, figures began to materialize. They were clowns, their painted faces grotesque and eerie beneath the dim moonlight. Their number grew until we could count at least 9 or 10, each one directing a chilling gaze our way. Their arms outstretched towards us, as if they yearned to seize the pulsating heart of our truck. At the wheel, I felt a knot of dread coil in my stomach as Francis bellowed out an incredulous expletive. As we began to skirt past this menacing troop, one clown, possibly bolder or blinder than the rest, ventured far too close to the highway's edge. Instinctively, I applied the brakes, intending not to halt but merely to reduce our speed. However, seeing our slowing pace, the sinister ensemble seemed to interpret it as an invitation, their numbers swarming our vehicle like predatory insects. Panic washing over me, I hit the gas with newfound fervor, the front right edge of the truck slamming into the audacious clown, who crumpled against the harsh asphalt. Instantaneously, the remaining clowns erupted into a chorus of furious shouts and curses, not bothering to aid their fallen comrade but rather venting their rage on the truck's exterior with their clenched fists. Francis instructed me to shift into park, his voice steady amidst the chaos. From beneath the passenger seat, he produced my ankle's handgun, a relic incapable of firing due to a faulty firing pin. The window rolled down with an ominous hum, and Francis pointed the impotent weapon at the closest clown. The threatening gesture seemed to stall their attack momentarily, and they cautiously retreated. Francis' voice sliced through the oppressive silence, his warning resounding in the eerie stillness. "Give me a reason." For a moment, time itself seemed to hold its breath as the clowns receded further, though not far enough for my liking. A thick, chilling silence pervaded the air, punctuated only by the distant rustling of the grass, a testament to our twisted predicament. The smell of gasoline hung heavy in the air as I managed to regain control and steer our vehicle out of that surreal circus nightmare. Francis' question echoed in the confined space, "Is he all right?" indicating the crumpled gesture on the unforgiving pavement. The clown on the ground began to stir, slowly crawling on hands and knees in a gruesome dance of pain and determination before another clown came to his aid. As if directing a grotesque tableau, Francis motioned with the gun towards the motley troop obstructing our path, ordering, "Make a space." The painted faces sneered, but they reluctantly parted, leaving a slim passage through their threatening ranks. Shifting the gear into drive, I cautiously inched the truck forward, my heart pounding a savage rhythm against my ribcage. "We have a dash cam." "Don't even think about calling the cops," Francis barked, maintaining the bluff to keep the upper hand. He kept the gun trained on them as we rolled away, an illusion of control he maintained until we'd put some distance between us and the bizarre crowd. Only then did he roll up the passenger window, sealing us off from the chilling tableau. As I glanced into the rearview mirror, I caught sight of the ominous group huddled in the middle of the highway, their grotesque figures shrinking into the distance. The sight was uncannily disturbing, a vision from a fever dream that had somehow slipped into reality. Francis, with his nonchalant bravery, returned the gun under the seat, grumbling about the potential damage to our headlight. Upon reaching home, we cracked open beers and lost ourselves in an episode of Game of Thrones, the surreal horror of our recent encounter going unmentioned. We didn't breathe a word of the incident to my uncle when he arrived home later. The truth was, we didn't have a dash cam, but the clowns didn't need to know that. In the still silence of the night, I couldn't help but hope that those grotesque jesters learned something from our encounter. Because next time, if there were a next time, I wouldn't be hitting the brakes. The night held a new threat, one that even the isolated expanses of Nebraska couldn't escape from. The following tale is recounted from the perspective of a woman. It was last Thanksgiving when my boyfriend and I embarked on a journey that would haunt our nightmares forever. We were fresh parents, our hearts beating anxiously as we secured our 2-month-old daughter in the car, preparing to drive from the sweltering heart of Miami to the tranquil shores of Naples. Our car was stuffed with supplies, preparing for every unpredictable circumstance a newborn might introduce. We began our drive just after midnight, the inky sky above us punctuated with indifferent stars. My boyfriend, tense but determined, maneuvered the car onto the bustling highway, thick with holiday travelers. As the first hour of our journey bled away, our baby began to show signs of discomfort. We decided to pull over at a lonely rest stop, nestled amidst the highway's ceaseless roar. While I attended to our daughter in the car's shadowy interior, my boyfriend stretched his legs, the tension draining from his shoulders. Suddenly, his voice ripped through the night, his tone tinged with a mix of amusement and unease. I squinted in the direction he indicated. My eyes fell on a figure that seemed to claw its way out of a surreal nightmare. A clown stood on the other side of the rest stop, the purple star painted over his face seeming to mock the stars above. His unkempt, jet black hair framed a white and purple checkered outfit, lending him an uncanny, disjointed appearance. He was waving in a disturbingly deliberate fashion to the transient guests of the rest stop. I tried to laugh it off, returning to my desks, naively believing he was part of some bizarre promotional event. As we prepared to merge back onto the highway, the clown's gaze met mine, his wave morphing into a chilling smile that seemed to freeze my blood. I felt a sickening sensation as his voice sliced through the quiet murmur of the night, reaching me through the closed car window.
Aren't babies delicious?
The words hung in the air like a venomous specter. What a creep. I managed to utter, my voice shrill and trembling. My recounting of his sinister comment left my boyfriend livid. He considered returning to confront the clown, but the unspoken dread between us dictated we put as much distance between us and that rest stop as possible. And so, our journey continued, the fear of the clown ignited trailing behind us like a relentless phantom. The eerie tale continues. With the unnerving rest stop encounter behind us, we managed to reach Naples around 2:30. By then, the sinister clown was a vague, forgotten blip in my memory, so inconsequential that I didn't even recount the incident to my parents. We reveled in the warmth of the familial festivities, an atmosphere so starkly contrasting our experience that it seemed to banish the incident to the realm of forgotten nightmares. As the clock struck 11:30, we realized we'd overstayed our intended departure time. Our parents pleaded for us to stay, but despite packing ample supplies for our baby, we had not thought to pack any for ourselves. Thus, we committed to our nocturnal journey home, hoping the highways would be less congested. Our drive was uninterrupted for about 45 minutes, until my boyfriend, eyes heavy with fatigue, asked if I could take over. I agreed, suggesting we pull over at the next rest stop. When we saw a sign signaling an upcoming rest area, relief washed over us. Unlike the first rest stop, this one was bare bones, a long, desolate parking lot bordered by a solitary row of parking spaces. We parked facing a towering chain-link fence, beyond which stretched a dawning landscape of shadowy trees and an ominous swamp. The car's headlights barely penetrated the darkness, casting an eerie glow that failed to reveal what lurked beyond the fence. Keeping the car running and the headlights on, my boyfriend exited the driver's seat, barely managing to suppress a yawn. As soon as the vehicle ceased its movement, our baby began to stir. I checked on her while my boyfriend slumped into the passenger seat, almost instantly surrendering to sleep. Sure that our baby would settle once we resumed our journey, I closed the back door and moved toward the driver's seat. That's when the oppressive silence of the night was broken by a chilling sound. The chain-link fence began to rattle, accompanied by a noise that sent a frigid shiver down my spine, something being dragged along the metal links, drawing nearer with every passing moment. I pivoted toward the source of the eerie sounds, and as I peered into the abyss beyond the glow of the headlights, for a fleeting moment, I wished the nightmare of the clown was the worst thing that had happened that night. For a heart-stopping moment, I saw nothing but the silhouetted figure standing ominously on the other side of the fence. The figure then lurched into the stark glare of our headlights, revealing a sight that instantly froze my blood, the clown from the earlier rest stop. This time, however, his white and purple costume bore a chilling addition, a large, menacing red stain. In his hand, he dragged a shattered beer bottle against the fence, the grating sound a ghastly symphony in the silent night. His grotesque smile widened as he pressed his face against the gaps in the fence, his hollow laughter echoing through the deserted lot. He taunted me, his voice slithering through the darkness.
Hello again.
He then launched into a grotesque mime, his tongue darting in and out in a perverse imitation of eating. Paralyzed by an overwhelming blend of disbelief, horror, and absurdity, I could only stare. My boyfriend, awakened by the commotion, catapulted out of the passenger seat, roaring at me to get into the car. His shout pierced the night, triggering the baby's terrified cries which reverberated across the desolate parking lot. To this, the clown responded by singing a twisted lullaby in a grotesque, uneven voice.
Baby in the treetop. When the clown comes, the cradle will rack.
In response, my boyfriend hurled one of the fancy glasses my parents had given us, the projectile exploding against the fence, showering the clown with razor-sharp shards. With a venomous hiss, the clown turned and bolted toward the end of the fence. We scrambled into the car, the doors slamming shut and locks clicking into place. As I threw the car into reverse and peeled out of our spot, the clown emerged, barreling toward us across the lot. Hit him? My boyfriend yelled, but I swerved to avoid him, propelling the car onto the highway with tires screeching. For the subsequent minutes, my heart pounded in rhythm with our speed. The chilling expectation that a speeding car would, at any moment, collide into us amplified the horror of our surreal encounter with the sinister clown. The terror of our encounter with the malevolent clown seeped into our bones, leaving us in a constant state of dreadful anticipation. We half expected a car to surge from the shadows at any moment, attempting to run us off the road in a deadly pursuit. Mercifully, this particular horror remained a figment of our shaken minds. For the remainder of our journey, our voices filled the car in an echoing chorus of disbelief, both of us repeatedly questioning the nightmarish reality of what had transpired. We speculated wildly about the clown's presence in the middle of the Everglades at midnight on Thanksgiving night. Was it merely a perverse joke meant to terrorize unsuspecting travelers? That theory seemed unlikely. One would need an unnerving level of audacity to pull off such a stunt in the Everglades, where the locals are known for their zero tolerance towards such antics. The possibility of him lying in wait, obscured by the inky darkness behind the fence, just to ambush a random vehicle, was an idea that further twisted the knife of fear in our hearts. The red stain on his suit, though unconfirmed, bore an ominous resemblance to blood, fueling our speculation that his intentions were far from harmless. Our retaliation seemed justified under the circumstances, especially when his response was to charge us like a deranged animal. Our encounter with him earlier that day lent an even more sinister air to the situation, causing us to feel like prey being stalked by a relentless predator. My boyfriend possessed a gun license, but that night he had left his firearm at home. The chilling realization of what might have happened had he brought it along sent shivers down our spines. This Thanksgiving, we made a pact to stay safely within the confines of our home, far from nighttime drives and monstrous clowns lurking in the shadows of desolate rest stops.